Okay, so now we have the last two sections. This is the sections where we're going to talk about your activities. You'll be able to note those here. So we'll say, yes, we do have some activities to report. You hit continue. It'll ask you how many you'd like to report. Oh, no, it doesn't this time. Okay. So you can go ahead and I believe you can select up to 10 different activities. So you'll just add another. But this is where you can type in Puma of the Week. This is where babysitting goes, if that's what you do, if you were part of any sports clubs, any community-based organizations. So for example, if you want to put that you were in JV soccer, you'll go ahead and type in JV varsity, put in soccer. Position, you can just put LPS, women's varsity soccer. That applies to you. If you were the captain on the team, you can put captain of LPS women's varsity soccer. If you, since it does say position, if you were defender, you can go ahead and put defender on LPS women's varsity soccer, whatever sport that is. And then you'll describe the activity. So so you can go ahead and do that. The way that you would do this is if you go to your application prep workbook, there is a section on here that we had you guys fill out. So if you go to the extracurriculars list, this is where that information should be noted down. So typically, like, follow whatever order you kind of put this in. This should be filled in for you at this point. So for example, I've played defense for all 4 years. I'll just copy whatever I typed in there in that box and paste it on here. Make sure that as you are doing that all the words are capitalized at the beginning of the sentences. Same thing with the name of the organization or sport that you are inputting, and you're ending it with the period. So it should be in complete sentences if that's the case. So once you do that, you'll be able to select whether you played 9th, however many years you played. If you played all throughout high school, great. And time of participation, this just means, like, did you play during the school year? Was this activity during the break? Was it all year? Hours spent, you can just do an approximation of that. So I spent 15 hours per week, right? That's what I noted earlier, 12 weeks per year. So go ahead and put that, 15 hours per week, 12 weeks per year. And again, this is an estimation. And this is just in case you are interested in participating in the sport, whether it's intramural or for the actual school team. You can indicate your preference there. And so you'll just go through that. If you have another activity that you want to put in, you can do that. So again, this is where community service comes in. All of that, you will just find the appropriate thing to put on here if you did do community service, right? So you did it at Lincoln Elementary School. You'll type in that. Maybe you were a tutor. Tutor for a student in 4th grade class, help them with their homework, and supervised them in the playground. Whatever your kind of duties were for that, you'll indicate that in whichever year that was in. Whether that was just during the school year, an approximation, maybe you went twice a week for an hour, so we can put 2 or 3 hours a week. You did during the regular school year, you can put in, I don't know, like 36 weeks, I believe it's in a regular school year, and whether or not you intend to like participate in this type of service. And so take a moment now, pause the video, and type in all of the activities that you have listed on here in your workbook. If you're having trouble with that, just raise your hand. We'll come over, kind of help you strategize on how to frame things, what else you can add, but you should have some sort of activities here for this section. Reading part, here you're just clicking that you understand that you are going to be sharing your personal statements with some schools. This is going to show you, once you add schools onto your dashboard, it'll show you what colleges actually require a personal statement and which ones do not. Most of them do, but those colleges will be listed here for you. So this is going to be where your personal statement is going to be pasted. So don't put it in now. That should be the very last thing. So as of right now, everything all of these should be checked off with the exception of writing. because you're not going to be able to, we wouldn't want you to submit this until we have reviewed your personal statement and we've just given you the go ahead to be able to submit that. So moving on to the next one, you can continue and work through. This is in case you had any, if you were ever suspended, you can go ahead and select that. For most of you, we know this is if you've been convicted of a crime of some sort. If you feel that if you were suspended or that you should answer yes to either one of these questions, come check in with me or Miss Wyatt. We just want to make sure that we talk that through with you so we can just go over that, okay? But for most of you, it'll be no and no. It's just if you want to provide any additional kind of just explanations of anything. If you have more than 5 siblings, for example, and you didn't get to list them under the sibling section under family, then this is where you can list that information. Just take a look at what information they're asking for again and provide them with that. If you have a TA period and your TA period responsibilities there are a lot more kind of like in depth, then you can go ahead and explain that and explain why you only have, 4 or 5 actual academic courses, and you can do that here. Otherwise, you can just select no and continue on. And so this is the very last section. Right now, if you guys have a checkbox in the writing part, you're double checking that you have not pasted your personal statement. So here, I think it just went through because I did select the box, right? So we're making sure that you're not going to submit this just yet. So under courses and grades, this is where you're going to put in all the courses that you are currently taking. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to this list of schools that do require that you submit your grades. So for example, if you are applying to Loyola Marymount University or any other schools that are on this one, it'll instruct you to put in the grades. So just for the sake of showing you guys, in case that's the case for you, I'm going to add that school so that you can see what it looks like. If none of your schools require it, then you're good to go. Like, you don't need to worry about filling out that section. But if your school is on this list, or one of your schools is on this list, you will go ahead and put yes, that you do have a copy of your transcript. It does show the grades that you've completed, and you'll hit save. And you'll just work through this using your transcript. You'll add all your grades. So you can take a look at this video if you'd like to stop hearing my voice at this point. Feel free to just take a look at this video and I'll walk you through it. Otherwise, just hit continue. If you were a transfer student, it'll show you the option of like at what school did you take this. So if you started at LPS with us, then your only option should be LPS. Your 9th grade year was 2015-2016, so you will select that. Hit continue, and we are in an A through F grading scale with a schedule of semesters. Course name, you'll just put in whatever your courses are on there. So for example, biology, it'll show you biology. You hit continue. If you took, it'll tell you whether or not it was an AP class. If it was regular, then you can just put regular. Like if it wasn't an AP class. You'll take a look at your transcript, see what you received. If you received a B or whatever, you'll go ahead and do that. Leave final blank. So for here, if you see on the course credit kind of section of it, it'll tell you that whether or not you receive 5 for each semester, and you'll input that information there. And this is what it will look like. So you'll just continue to add a row, add a subject. So if you're taking, so again, whatever kind of just, for example, if you took art, but it was just performing arts, then, and if it says performing arts on your transcript, you'll do that. It was regular, whatever your grade was for that class. We don't do pluses or minuses, so make sure that you're doing that correct. If you receive full credits for it, perfect. Now, if you were someone that were missing credits for it, then you will indicate that. like for attendance issues or whatever it might be, you will have to indicate that and will have to provide some sort of explanation for that. So you'll just work through this. It'll show you, it'll have you check off the box to make sure that, yeah, I'm done inputting all the grades for this grade, and you'll hit continue. It'll have a little green check mark, and you'll work your way through from 10th grade to 12th grade. So go ahead and take a moment to do that now. So in terms of other courses, for most of you guys, it'll just be no, because you are already reporting any courses that you have taken at LPS right here. In case you actually took a class at Contra Costa, to say you took pre-calc at Contra Costa, or you took summer boot camp or something to be able to skip to AP this year, for example, that information will go under additional information. So that's something that you can input here. And remember to max is 650, so you have enough space. So again, if you took a class to make up like an English 1 credit, like you would note that on here, just make a quick note. Like took course, actually name of course, so you'll input the name of course right here at Contra Costa College to make up for English 1 credit, for example, or to make up for biology credit, if that applies to you at all during your time at LPS. Okay. So that is where that would live. So everything in here should be checked off with the exception of the writing part. The writing part, you are not finished with the words entered at 0. Please do not send these out to colleges. It's super hard to kind of get back to them. We have students in the past that have made this mistake where they send their entire application over and this section is completely missing. So again, it'll tell you which colleges actually require the Common App essay, the personal statement essay. But for the majority, it'll be all of them. And that will be it. So great. Good job, you guys. I'll show you guys how to add colleges, but just a quick example in case you're curious to do this now. You can type in the names of the schools that you can apply to. So for example, if you're applying to Holy Names or Dominican, maybe Wesleyan, you can do that. Just put a little comma right underneath and hit search. You don't have to fill out all of this, and it'll generate a list. So make sure that you are typing in or selecting the right school. So I want the one that's in San Rafael. For Dominican, Holy Names, I'm making sure that's the one in Oakland. Wesleyan University, I'm making sure that's the right one. Middletown, Connecticut, and then I'm hitting add. Oh, and this one, it's just telling me like, you've already added Dominican University of California, and I did that earlier. So great. And that will just live right here in your dashboard, and you'll be able to see that.